friends, I welcome you all to Studyopia. So without wasting time, let's begin today's video. A glance at a map of the major physical features of the Earth's surface tells us about the continents, mountain chains, ocean floor features have a varied relief and elevation. This implies that something must have happened to permit mountains to stand above the continental plains and the continents above the ocean basin at same stage during the Earth's history. It is estimated that about 13.6 cubic kilometers of rock material is eroded from the continents each year and deposited in the oceans. At this rate of erosion, it would take only about 10 million years to reduce the continent to sea level. But we know the Earth's age is about 4.6 billion years. And the geological record indicates that deposition of rocks material has been occurring in the shallow seas on the margin of continents and on the continental slope for much of geological time. So it is clear that processes have operated and are still operating to maintain the relief of the continents. The term isostasy came from a Greek word isos, which refers to equal, and stasis means standstill, is a term used in geology to refer to the state of gravitational equilibrium between the Earth's lithosphere and asthenosphere, such that the tectonic plates float at an elevation which depends on their thickness and density. So parts of the crust will rise or subside until the stability is achieved. Gravity anomalies. 1735 to 1745, French surveying expedition under Pierre Bouguer found that Andes mountains deflected their plumb bob line with much less than expected. Depending on this, from 1830 to 1843, the Great Trigonometric Survey of India, completed under Sir George Everest, found the same result due to the Himalayas. And during 1855, Sir J.H. Pratt and Sir J.H. Airy proposed two separate hypotheses to explain this observation, which depends on Archimedes' principle termed isostasy. The free air anomaly is primarily used to determine if a region is in isostatic equilibrium. If a region is in equilibrium, there should be no excess or lack of mass above the compensation depth and hence no gravity anomaly. The Pierre Bouguer anomaly indicates mass variations that are not due to topography. Now, if the structure is about 10 times the compensation depth, the free air anomaly will be very small away from the edges. Uncompensated structures have zero Bouguer anomaly. Compensated structures have negative Bouguer anomaly. And why? Now see, mountain range continental plains survive for much greater periods than 10 million years implies that there must be some process compensating for erosion from the surface. Such a process has to be within the earth, and this implies that mountains may differ in some way from continental plains and ocean floors. The first indication of a possible cause of this difference came in 1735 from a French scientist, Pierre Bouguer, who was surviving in the Andes. When setting up a theodolite, a surveyor hangs a plumb bob beneath the instrument to act as a vertical reference line above a survey point. Newton's law of gravitation states that any two bodies attract each other with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance separating them. So depending on that, see the diagram, the deflection of plumb bob near mountain chain is less than expected. Calculations show that the actual deflection may be explained if the excess mass is cancelled by an equal mass deficiency at greater depth. So, depending on Archimedes' model, Sir Airy and Pratt had given theories of isostasy. So, isostasy, a state of gravitational equilibrium in which an area of crust floats in a balanced way on denser rock material. The elevation of any part of the Earth's crust is a function of the thickness and the density of the crust. As we all know that crust has bifurcated into two halves, Sial and Sima. Sial forms continental crust and Sima forms oceanic crust. Sial is lighter rock material which is of less density, and Sima is of heavier rock material and which is more denser than Sial. So in a simple word, isostasy is the vertical movement of the crust to attain buoyancy in the mantle. The height of a block of wood floats in water depends on the density and its thickness. The height of the earth crust also depends on its density and thickness. Just as a boat sinks or rises with changes in weight, so does the crust sink or rise with changes in weight. Plate tectonics builds mountains and extra weight causes the crust to sink. As erosion occurs, the weight of the mountain decreases and the crust rises again. So this process is called isostatic changes. Here you can see the diagram. Here there is a depth of compensation or a zone or line of compensation where and rest of the blocks or the crust, okay, continents, oceans, mountains, plains, plateaus are giving same pressure to the compensation line. There are three principal models of isostasy. First, Airy, where different topographies' heights are accommodated by changes in crustal thickness, in which the crust has constant density. Pratt's model, where different topographic heights are accommodated by lateral changes of rock density. And waning Minet's, where the lithosphere acts as an elastic plate and its inherent rigidly distributes local topographic loads over a broad region by bending. So here comes Sir Airy's hypothesis. Rigid upper layer and the substrate are assumed to have a constant density. So isostatic compensation is achieved by deep roots. So you can see the diagram. In very simple word, we can say that in Airy's hypothesis, there is uniform density varying thickness. Clear? Next, we have another diagram from which we can easily understand. This figure shows how either thickness differences or density differences determine how high the wood blocks will float. After 4 years, during 1859, Sir Pratt has given another hypothesis of isostasy, where he told mountain ranges supported by density variation within the crust. So in a better way, we can tell that bigger the column, lesser the density, and smaller the column, greater the density. That means those who are having greater densities, those rocks which are having greater densities, it will subside, and with lighter density it will float. So that was Pratt's concept. So either way, the plate is relatively light, it will float, and which is heavy, that will subside. So the principle of isostasy, as erosion reduces the summits of mountains, the crust will rise in response to the reduced load. The process of erosion and uplift together will continue until the mountain block reaches its normal crust thickness, its balancing point of equilibrium. When this occurs, the mountain will be eroded to near sea level, and the once deeply buried interior of the mountain will be exposed at the surface. Through this diagram, we can easily understand the isostatic adjustment. Now, who was correct? Airy was mostly correct about what supports large or wide mountains, but it took until the 1970s to prove that. Seismic work that measured the thickness of the crust and lithosphere beneath mountains. Pratt was correct in that difference between the low-standing ocean basins and the high-standing continents is partially due to the fact that oceans have dense composition. So here's the diagram from which we can easily understand the concept of isostasy, how Pratt and Airy has explained. So today we have learned about isostasy, where isostasy is the upstanding parts of the earth's surface, mountains, plateau, plains, ocean basins, which must be compensated by the lighter rock materials from the beneath so that it should remain the mechanical stability. So after Darton and the gravity anomaly concept of Pierre Boger, Sir Airy and Pratt's isostasis hypothesis we have read in this video lesson. So as we have already mentioned that Pratt's concept was about bigger the column, lesser the density, and smaller the column, greater the density. Okay, that is the reason why mountains are floating and the ocean floors are subsiding. And Airy, the concept of Airy can be defined in a very simple sentence: uniform density varying thickness. So the thickness, if you take similar kind of timber blocks and you are trying to float them all on water, then you will see that with different thickness it will the result will be different. So this is what isostasy is. So both Airy and Pratt's hypothesis imply that surface irregularities are balanced by differences in density of rock below the major features of the crust. This state of balance is described as the concept of isostasy, and most of the Earth's surface is thought to be in a state of isostatic equilibrium. Losses of rock from the surface of continents and the deposition on the margins of ocean basins also imply that isostatic readjustments occur continually, and we know from repeated surveys that part of the crust which have been loaded by ice sheets are now ice free, are rising isostatically in compensation for the loss of mass as the ice melted. Such evidence is the strongest available in favor of the concept of isostasy. Up to this for today. If you have any doubt, do comment us in the comment section down below, and stay tuned with us for more informative video lessons.